Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are warping for 42 years. It's gonna be a bit. I'm not gonna make you sit through the whole thing, but we have a separation here that's actually really solid. We get really close and only 37.3 meters per second apart. Yes, it's really, 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 really far in the future. There's no doubt about that. But also, when I load it up, for some reason, I'm not getting massive frame drops from this anymore. So that's great. Absolutely great. Well, like I said, it's going to be a 42-year time warp, so we will be right back when that time warp is a little bit closer to completion. See you guys in a bit. Like, quite a bit. And about an hour and a half later, here we are. At 100,000 times time warp, that literally took almost exactly an hour and a half. So, yeah, that's a thing. We're just going to flip around over here. It looks like we may have hit a KSP memory leak, so frame rate is starting to dip. I'm not super shocked by that. Maybe I should have restarted KSP, but I don't know what that would have done to the recording. It probably would have been okay, I think. Now that I think about it, I think that probably would have been fine. But let's go ahead and burn this. It's a very minor burn, that's for sure. So we're going to physics warp it. It really likes to spin, but that's okay. So we're going to bring this in, and we're going to be about 30 meters per second apart, which is not too bad, all things considered. We are going to bring that down about like so, 0.2 meters per second off. How is that looking? Separation of 600 kilometers. Being that far off. Okay, so we're going to try to fine-tune that a little bit. I'm going to put in a maneuver node up here-ish. And we're going to see what we can do to fine-tune that. So we can bring this down a little bit. That's like 26 kilometers there. Okay. 17 kilometers. Can we get this to be changed a little bit by going normal? Yes, we can. We can bring that down to about 5.9 kilometers. 5.4. 4.5. 3.1. At least at this resolution, that's about the best we're going to get. Let's try the graphical maneuver editor, changing the scale all the way down to the minimum. And definitely not that way. Yeah, this feels like it's actually higher. It's definitely higher. Okay. That's about the best we can get. This is going to be, I think, a pro target burn. So we're just going to flip around over to that. Burning basically towards the target. It definitely doesn't want to turn over here, but we will see what we can do about that. Okay. Very, very minor burn towards target here. I'm going to get rid of this maneuver node. And let's see what this does. Cool. I'm going to thrust limit us here. Down to 0.5%. Very, very tiny burns at this point have very huge changes. So down to 0.5%. And there we go. Let's continue to burn towards target here. And you can see, even at 0.5%, this isn't all that slow. Okay, that's starting to go back up at this point. So let's toss in a little bit of normal here and see if we can bring that down any closer. I still want to get closer than 28.1 kilometers. How's this direction? Cool. There we go. Definitely getting a little bit closer here. 19 kilometers. 15. 12, 10, 8, 5, and we're losing efficiency. Let's try burning towards target again. And see if we can fine-tune that any closer. Okay. A little bit closer, I'm hoping. Nope, that is going further away. So we're going to have to burn a little bit anti-target. Okay, a little awkward there, to be sure, but it'll be fine. So we will bring that around, and we will burn around here. Not exactly here. It's now 4 kilometers? Okay. We'll bring that down. Okay, that's about the best we've got. Let's try normal again. We'll flip around to normal. And let's see how that's going. Yeah, we're bringing it down again. 2, or actually 0.3. Okay, we'll try anti-target again. Physics warping as we turn, and this number will go back down again. Okay. Nope. Now we need to go towards target. Okay. So we'll just continue to dial this in a little bit. We're very, very close at this point, that's for sure. So we'll position here and try to bring this down very, very gently. I mean, this is close enough, but we'll try to bring it down a little bit. Man, that's close. That's good enough. That is definitely good enough. At this frame rate, I don't quite trust my ability to get that any closer. So we will put in a node here. And that's going to be a... actually, I need to double check that. We need to get rid of this node. This was 37.2 meters per second. Okay. I'm actually just going to warp around over here. Okay. So while we warp, let's go ahead and unthrust limit our engines. Oh, we can't do that while we're warping? Sad. Well, we'll do that right now, so that I don't forget. And we will need to be facing target retrograde. Okay, we're going to warp around to about here. There we go. And eventually we will hopefully point target retrograde. So in we go. About 60 days to warp. And we will be linking up with this very, very soon. Yes, our timing for launching this was not ideal. There's no doubt about it. But we kind of knew that when we put this thing together. So no big deal there, all things considered. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and warp like 7 more days in the future. There we go. And do we see the target yet? Not yet. Cool. How far out is it? It's still quite a ways. Okay. So let's flip around to target retrograde for right now. And if we were to look at the Class E asteroid, we can see it's about 2 million meters out. Cool. So we're now facing target retrograde, and let's go ahead and warp in about another day. We're going to have to maybe change that a little bit, but shouldn't be too bad. This intersect is currently in about an hour. Let's warp in a little bit closer. Okay. Now, where is this thing? It should be around here somewhere. I have no idea where, though. How far out is it? Still quite a ways. Wait, this separation changed dramatically on us. Okay, well... that's awkward. We had it down, like, to 0.3 kilometers, and then it changed while we were warping. Well, Okay. We're going to kill our relative velocity then. And I don't actually expect this to be getting any closer currently. We're going to have to do a get closer burn. That's all there is to it. So we're going to bring this down. Sometimes I really hate when KSP does things like that. I mean, there's this up here. That intersect may end up being the one that we target, but we'll see. Okay. I mean, that is getting a lot closer. Like, a whole lot closer. And now it's gone. Okay. Well, we're just going to kill our relative speed here, and we're just going to attempt to do a get closer burn. 2, 1, and 0. Okay. Let's hop around and point at the target. And we're going to try to bring this in a little bit. Okay. So we're going to burn towards the target here. And we're going to burn a little more heavily, because I want to bring this separation down pretty dramatically. That's 2,000 kilometers. 1,000 kilometers. Okay, at this point we're beginning to lose efficiency, that's for sure. But that's fine. I'm reasonably content with this for now. That's a separation of 200 kilometers. In theory. We'll see if this one's a real one, but in theory. Okay, that's 130. We may want to call this good enough, but I'm just going to burn it a little closer here, and it popped over. Well, that's unhelpful. Well, we know it was right around here, so we're going to warp over. That was incredibly unhelpful. Sometimes, KSP. Sometimes. Okay, so we're going to flip around to target retrograde here. Which is also anti-target, fundamentally, at this point. We've definitely overshot it this way a little bit, that's for sure. Okay. Let's flip it on over. And we're just going to give this a little bit of a braking maneuver. And hope that it pops back. Okay, there we go. That's a separation of 4.8 kilometers. I'm not going to touch this now. And we are going to warp up to... Oh, I cleared the target. Okay. We're going to need to reset this target. And we are going to warp to about here. And it changed. Okay. Well, it might change back after we're done with this warp. That's the hope, anyway. So we'll bring this in. I'm very much hoping that this changes back after we finish this warp. It really should. Yes, it did. Well, now it's 120 kilometers. Let's just see about burning this down a little bit. Yikes. Okay. Well, we'll continue to warp in. This must be floating point errors, is all I can figure, because that's a little insane. Regardless, we have managed to get a get closer burn. Yeah, now it's 234. And if we warp in a little bit closer here, I mean, we are closer than we were previously, but this is very off. Very, very, very off. We'll just warp this in a little bit more. And we'll see what it calculates to this time. 247. Okay. We'll warp in a little bit further. I have no idea what we're at right now, but we should consider getting this all set up, potentially. Okay. 10 more minutes to warp here. And we'll kill our relative velocity. This is pretty close. It's now 249 kilometers, but we will kill our relative velocity here. We are not on target retrograde. Okay, there we go. Let's head over towards... Oh, we can't actually head to target retrograde anymore because it's too low. Okay, we'll just head over here. There we go. And now we'll burn towards target again. So currently, that's our nearest separation with a relative speed of 0.1 meters per second. So let's try this again. We'll try to get closer again. We did get a lot closer there, but this is definitely a thing. Okay. So let's go ahead and bring that down. Five kilometers. Okay, that's starting to go back up now. So we should probably consider like a normal burn here. I think that's going to be what we need at this point. That's still only 4.9 kilometers out. Okay. Anti-normal. Very, very minor changes are what's needed here. And unfortunately, it changing every time we finish our warp is not helping. That is very, very unhelpful. But I guess it'll have to do. 2.8 kilometers? I'm going to call that good enough. We're going to warp directly... Well, actually, we are not able to go to target retrograde. We should go to, I think, anti-target. That's going to be pretty close to target retrograde. So we'll come on over here. And that's 2.8 kilometers. So now let's warp to here. I'm only going to warp one time. And in theory, this should be close enough to eyeball it from here, which would be awfully nice. It would be awfully nice. So we are going to warp in these last 19 days here. Yeah, KSP is definitely rocking some sort of a memory leak, I think, because it was running so much better before the hour-and-a-half long warp. That's for sure. At any rate, this is okay. We are going to warp this on in. And currently we don't see the asteroid, but we should be able to see that quite soon. Okay. 5 days. 2, 1, and... Okay. That's now 100 kilometers out. That is so much. I mean, we are getting closer. But this would be so much easier if we were actually getting to the points that it says we're going to. Alas, we are not. 131 kilometers. Well, let's warp ahead another half hour. And let's see what anti-target gets us once this is over. Because we need to get even closer. We need to be within like 3 kilometers before we can... Well, we need to be within like 50 kilometers really to eyeball it. Okay, so let's see what anti-normal gets us. I'm burning right now. You may not be able to tell. Okay. So anti-target pushes us further away. I'm not surprised by that right now, but, well, yeah, I'm just generally not surprised by that right now. Let's just burn towards target. We have a really hard time with that. The way it, like, makes a point shape and then comes back. I don't know. That's nutty. Okay, so let's go ahead and burn towards the target here. And we're going to bring this down as much as possible. We'll start losing efficiency soon. But I don't want this to be very far in the future at all. So that's 100 kilometers there. 90, 80, and you can see this relative speed going kind of nuts. We'll have to break this burn as well. If this was reliable, this wouldn't be necessary, but here we are. We're now 60 kilometers out, allegedly, and you can see our time to intercept is going down at this point. And honestly, I'm going to call that good enough. For this get closer. That was 50 meters per second, and I don't want to burn too much more. So we're going to get that a little bit closer. Coming around to target retrograde. Okay. And in we go. Hopefully, this intersect is not going to recalculate and be ridiculously far away now. We'll see. I'm going to stop this a couple minutes early, so like here. Okay. And let's begin our braking burn. Our separation is starting to go back up now a little bit, so I actually want to warp here a little bit further. I feel like that was a little early on the braking burn. Okay. Still a little bit early. Gonna warp in slightly further. And we can see it's pushing out the time to that, to the actual intersect point. So I'm going to take this down to about 10 seconds to intersect. 11, 10. Okay. We can definitely bring this down to like 5 seconds to intersect. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Okay. I want this time to intersect to be extremely similar. I'm going to take it down to 0. Or actually to 1. Nope, to 0. And see what happens there. Yeah, we can still push this out, no problem. So let's go ahead and push that out for the moment until this starts to stop dropping. Currently, it's about 50 kilometers out. And now it's going crazy. It's still dropping a bit. Okay. Now it's dropping quite a bit. Relative speed is only 1 meter per second separate. Half a meter per second separate. And we've got this nonsense going on again, where it's just switching to a different encounter now. For reasons. But that's okay. Let's see if we can see where the thing is. Actually, yes we can. It is right there. Fantastic. So let's get flipped around, and we're going to eyeball it from here. I do not trust those instruments. So, we are taking an interesting circuitous route over to the pro-target node. But here we are. And I'm going to burn in now at about 10 meters per second. Okay. Now we'll flip around to target retrograde. And we're getting closer. At not a hugely high rate, but we are getting closer. Now the question is, can we get to target retrograde? The answer is yes, eventually. But the next question is, how close does this actually get us? We're just going to eyeball this from here. And let's bring it on in. We can time warp at about 1000x. Okay. We're about 5 kilometers out now. And I want to continue warping, but not at 1000x. That's for sure. We're at about 3 kilometers out. That's physics loading in now. Cool. This is so much easier when you can just eyeball it and you don't have to rely on inaccurate instruments. Okay. Yeah, this is going to be really nice and close. Are we still warping? I did not mean to still be warping. Okay. Actually, no, we should be braking right now. Okay. Bring that down to 0.0, and we'll point at target. At this point, I definitely want to arm our advanced grabbing unit. We are incredibly close to this thing. Like, we're under 100 meters now. So that's great. I'm not going to be physics warping, that's for sure. And I want to target the center of mass of this asteroid. So we'll get that targeted, and we will eventually get turned over here. I don't think we're going to impact anything. Control from here. This is definitely an exciting route that we're taking. No doubt about that. I don't even know where we're going right now. Like, we're supposed to be pointing at the target. Target is here? Okay. Exciting. Well, there's a lot of momentum involved in this. There's no doubt about that. Okay. So we're about 50 meters out at this point, and let's just get attached up. So I want to point us directly at the target. There we go. And I'm going to freeze physics here to kill that spin that we picked up. And we're going to head in very, very gently. At about half a meter per second. Now, I can see we're off a little bit. So I'm going to pull up over this direction. There we go. And that's about right. So we'll warp and come back so that we turn. There we go. And we should grab here momentarily. Ish. There we go. We grabbed. So next, we want to get some additional points of contact here. So I'm going to bend this guy down to be at 0 degrees. There we go. We will arm this grabber. And we will extend this out until it grabs. Boy, it doesn't like to grab. Okay. Well, that was the plan anyway. Apparently we are not going to grab onto it with additional grabbers. Exciting. Well, we'll pretend that we did. Okay. So this will be at 0 degrees. And we will arm that. And we will extend that out to be about here. This one would clip through under most circumstances, so I'm just going to position it like here for now. There we go. And then we'll grab this one too. Fantastic. And extend that guy out. We'll arm this. And that... Wait, that one grabbed. Interesting. Yeah, this one definitely grabbed. So this, I guess it's just because of like the normal of the rock here, probably. This particular arm just doesn't want to grab. Did this one grab? This one grabbed. So we do actually have 3 points here. Yeah, I'm guessing it's just the angle that we're at here. Makes it so that that one doesn't want to grab. We can maybe adjust for that by having this come in at a slightly steeper angle, like so. I believe we grabbed here. We did. We've definitely got a bit of a shimmy going on here, but that's fine, I guess. We'll arm this one here, and we'll see if that will grab as well. We may have to angle it like this and wait for it to swing out. I think it's in a little too steep. Okay, I'm just checking for what we've got going on here. We're not very stable. That's for sure. This is going to be interesting. It is, however, past time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we'll try to bring this thing in. That's going to go very interestingly. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including Casserole, Sigma162, JJ Gamer, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Video Games Are Not Real, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.